this help me? Well, this isn't even on the right. Hello. Casey Shipp here. Casey Shipp here. We're doing Q&A tonight. Live streaming on all the places. If you're new to my channel or to my content, welcome. I do cuss a lot, so if that's going to offend you, definitely just keep on scrolling. I may let out the F-bomb and all that stuff. We're going to talk about fitness, health, hormones, all the things. And I've got, how many questions do I have here? 5 questions that I'm going to answer. And I've professional fitness model, by the way, if you don't know, which you should know, because if you're new to my shit, hello, let me introduce myself. How rude. Pretty much, if you are ready to get unstuck, you've been doing all the things, you bought all the programs, the $8,000 programs, the $5,000 programs, the $10,000 programs, the $22 programs, all the things, and nothing has worked. Even if you've gone to, is this on? Hold on, I want to make sure we got this. Hold on. I can't be rude and not go live. Okay, it says I'm live. Let me just make sure. I don't want to say things twice. I don't want to have to say things over and over again. This is when I should have told Skip to just tell me if I'm live. But we're gonna go over some things, and I think you're gonna figure out why you've been stuck for so long. But no matter, even if the doctors told you that, you're normal, you're not normal. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've had total hysterectomy, 2 C-sections, very successful with my health and body. And it doesn't have to be hard for you. It's just, I don't think you've had the right systems. And I think that people, I don't know why they're not telling you this. Maybe they just don't know. And maybe that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here. So hell yeah. All right, let me make sure this is on my free community, because that was the whole point. Welcome. Got 5 Q&As I'm going to cover. And if you are watching and you have a question, I will totally, perfect. Okay, it's on. I will answer that. All right, let's go to the first one. And I even had a lady ask about Hashimoto's today. I don't know if we'll get to that one, but here's the first question. How do you stay so disciplined? It says, how do you stay so disciplined when you're exhausted or unmotivated? Number 1. So I had chronic fatigue. I had unexplained illnesses. Doctors could not give me answers for many, many years. Like I said, I used to compete. I was a performer. I mean, that too. Professional fitness model, been in the magazines and all that. So I've abused my body with stage diets and all that stuff. Early on in my early 20s, I was extremely unhealthy. I was going to holistic doctors, you know the drill, the Dutch test where they have you buy $1,000 worth of fucking supplements and all that. Yeah. So I went down that rabbit hole, did all that stuff, and then just kept trying. I never stopped. I've always been really into health, and I knew something was off. I've done every diet you can possibly think of. And I was exhausted. I remember doing Adderall and venti coffees. No shit. I was addicted to caffeine. I remember taking, I told you, venti coffees and Adderall, and that would maybe do the trick. Addicted to uppers. I mean, the thought of not doing an upper, I mean, I was straight addicted. Like it was like, what do you mean? No, nothing. Like, I remember hearing people that didn't use caffeine. And I was like, what are you? Are you like some god, or like, what are you? So when you say, how can you stay disciplined and when you're exhausted? Here's the thing. Because I teach on nervous system health, and everybody's like, what is that? Hormones even, right? Yeah. We work with the best physicians, and we can absolutely help you to heal adrenal fatigue and heal your pituitary, heal your underlying things that are causing autoimmune diseases. Yes, absolutely. We've had women come here with Hashimoto's. They don't have Hashimoto's anymore. So how do you stay disciplined when you're exhausted? You have to first learn why you're exhausted. You have to understand that. And I used to teach on trauma, and everybody was like, well, 2 different types of responses I got. One, for a lot of the type A women like myself, and who's done a lot of the work, personal growth junkies, they've bought all of the books and all that shit, Think and Grow Rich. Those types of women will hear that and go, I don't have trauma. Like, I just need to lose weight. Will you just give me a meal plan? Will you just tell me what you did for your hormones? I don't have trauma. I'm telling you, if you're fucking exhausted and unmotivated, you have so much fucking trauma. You are pushing for that. That is the fucking meaning of it. So, and now, sure, aging is another thing, but it's why are some people aging beautifully and they don't look old and they don't feel old and some do? And this is the answer. It's in the cells, in the nervous system, generational, and generations create your nervous system. It's not just what you've only been through or what you haven't been through. It's generational. And a lot of people don't even teach on that. And here's the thing, the good news tonight is you don't have to understand jack shit. I have an AI system that does everything for you in real time. That you should just see the testimonials that we're getting. They're like, holy shit, I'm having the breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, more answers in seconds from using your AI, Casey, Hotmomz AI, than years in other programs. So don't worry. It's not going to take you that long to get it figured out and all this stuff. But how to stay disciplined when you're exhausted? First, you have to understand that the reason you're exhausted is you have got to learn how to regulate your nervous system, because your nervous system is in survival mode, fight or flight. So we've got to get you into parasympathetic. And we do that like this. You've seen if you've watched anything and you're not living under a rock and you've watched my Instagram, go look as HRV. That's the #1 tracker for where your nervous system is at. We can get it up in a 24-hour span. We can get it up quickly, but I'm saying like overnight, we can literally get your HRV up, how your body is storing stress, holding on to things, not letting go of things. Half of y'all, the weight you got on you is from the emotional weight. And you're like, what do you mean? I don't feel that way. Exactly. So don't worry. It's not like you come here and cry. It's not like that. But the reason why you're exhausted is your hormones suck ass. No, you're not normal. Your adrenals are probably fried. Your aldosterone, your cortisol free in total. Everybody thinks it's high cortisol. Most women who come to work with me, I will say 85% of them have too low of cortisol, too low of testosterone, too low of estrogen, too low of everything. That's why you're fucking exhausted and you're trying to do all the things. So first you have to understand, yes, your hormones are screwed. I don't care who you go to. I don't care who you go to. And we actually have in the free community pinned and actually, if you want my resources, all you got to do is DM me ready. Or if you're on YouTube or Facebook, just click the link in the description. It's $22. You get access to everything. And you can see what the results need to be. You can see where your blood work needs to be. You can use the physicians that are actually top in the US. Matter of fact, Elon Musk reached out to them because they order more blood work than any other lab in the US. Okay. Just saying. So that's how do you stay disciplined when you're unmotivated? You know how to care for your nervous system. You know when you're going into survival. You know when you're doing something out of guilt or obligation. You know when something doesn't feel safe for you. You know that if you go through one more fucking diet, you may not survive. Who here has done diets before and it just feels like inside of your body, it feels like not only are you being punished, it just feels bad inside of your body to think about doing a diet. Yes, that is survival mode. That's trauma. And not until you address that, there's no meal plan. There's no fucking magical fairy dust that's going to make the fat fall off of your ass. Like it's just, and now here, sure. Can you go take some T3, some clenbuterol, some, Ozempic? Can you go take all these supplements and drugs? Absolutely. But you're going to pay for it. That's just like going out right now and buying a yacht on credit that you cannot pay for. So you're going to pay for it one way or another. It's just up to you how you want to do this. Me personally, I love looking hot. All right. I love looking so hot with an ass that's tight, the glutes that salute. I like, titties and ass and tight waist, stomach and nice quads. I like it and I love it. But I like being healthy just as much, if not more. If I'm not, because I've been there. I've been on the magazine and all the things, and I wasn't healthy. It's same with money. It's like, do you want shit tons of money or do you want to feel wealthy and have money? Do you want to lose 10 pounds or do you want to feel super hot, sexy, and confident and 10 pounds be gone? I'm pretty sure you want all of that. So you have to address your nervous system first. So don't push. If you're not motivated, it's because you're depressed. Not saying you're depressed not the way the medical field teaches it, the Western. Depressed meaning, like I just said, everything's low. All your hormones are low because you've been over functioning in survival mode your whole life. So you have to learn how to get out of survival mode. And we're not talking wearing silk robes and saying positive fucking affirmations. We're not talking about going to the chiropractor and drinking more water. Yes, those are important things, but this is way beyond that. We teach it very simply. Like I said, Hotmomz AI does it in seconds. Hopefully the fitness industry catches on really soon. All right. Number 2, what actually worked to flatten your stomach after babies in hormone hell? Number 1, and all you fucking haters out there that want to say, you got a tummy tuck. Let me just give you a little something. And that's fine. Look, I see it. When a woman's fucking winning, it triggers your ass. I get it. What flattened my stomach? So I had diastasis recti. Here I am, fitness model, having shoots and everything right after kids. Great. I did a 5-month photo shoot right after my first C-section in LA. Got in a magazine for that. No surgery, but I still, you could see in my belly, it looked great. Listen, it looked great. And most women would be like, holy shit, are you kidding me? But I'm a fitness model. There's a certain standard of belly that we like to look like. And I understand you may not want that. However, when I did that shoot in LA, 5 months postpartum after my first baby C-section, you could still see some separation. It takes like a year to heal your diastasis recti. If I could go back, and new mommies, listen up. And I work with a lot of new mommies, and the groundbreaking thing we're finding for new moms are microdosing with things. If you want to know more about that, you just come on into my world. And it's incredible for serotonin, for rebalancing your happy hormones and stuff like that. And then Pilates mixed with lower, what is it? Not sacral, pelvic floor PT. All right. So if I was a new mommy and could do it all over again, I would have just done a year of PT, lower pelvic floor, in Pilates, like easy Pilates, not like trying to work out and kill myself type Pilates, and microdose, right? But hindsight is 2020. What I did was everything wrong. I forced my body back into shape, and then paid for it later because I got, well, I'll just save that because I could go way off on down another path. Flat belly is right away hormones. Right away, I addressed my adrenals. I got right with my hormone doctors, the same one I give you. If you go to the link, click the link. It's $22 to get started. You can work with the same physicians. I worked with them, worked on my hormones immediately, got my growth factor back up, got all my hormones right. I did not do crunches or anything like that because I still had diastasis recti and an umbilical hernia. So like, hell no, it was doming and everything. Massive ab separation, like 3 fingers. It was pretty gnarly. And I'm tiny, like 5'5", itty bitty frame type thing. And then what did I do? Lifted weights, focused on, taking care of myself. If I was not sleeping 6 hours or more, like rested, I would not train hard. I would, back then I didn't know what I was doing, but I was actually working with my nervous system. But after my second child and hysterectomy, what I did was I was like, fuck this. I didn't know about PT, lower pelvic floor PT. I didn't know about Pilates. I had no idea. I was very hasty, and if I could go back, I wouldn't do it again because I got botched. What I did was, when I knew I was done with babies and I was in pretty good shape, my abs looked great. And I have pictures of them. I have abs. I remember it was in Waffle House. If you're in the South, Waffle House, took a picture because I was doing sprints that day. I had abs coming back in. It's just my umbilical hernia was sticking out, and I could still see like diastasis recti, kind of still looked, hadn't healed up. So before my year after postpartum, 2 babies, I went immediately and got a tummy tuck. But she didn't. It's not like when women go to get tummy tuck. It's not what you're thinking. That's just what the surgery was called. There's another word to call it, and I've seen fitness models say this because they don't want to say tummy tuck. I could give a fuck because whatever. She did an internal corset. She sewed my diastasis back together because there's no muscle that runs midline. However, if you give yourself time, I just didn't know this. If you give yourself time and do the right things, it can come back together pretty nicely. And then, sure, if it's been 1 to 2, 3 years, I do have clients that still are 5 years postpartum, and they still have diastasis recti, and they've even gotten surgery. Itty bitty yoga women. Okay, so what she did was, she fixed my umbilical hernia and diastasis recti. That's it. There was no fat suck. There was no ab sketching, which, God, if I could go back, look, I'm saying, if I could do it over again, okay, I would have taken my time. I would have done Pilates, lower floor PT. And then I would have gotten a mommy makeover. I would have gotten my tits way smaller. I would have done a lift because I went huge. I was like, I wasn't prepared. I know you're not asking for this, but why not? I was not prepared at that time to have a lift. I had just gotten done breastfeeding and my tits were like a triple D. So, I've always wanted like huge boobs, like adult star size boobs. And I was like, let's just do that. 700 cc's on my little frame. So if I could go back, but now, hey, I've had them. We're gonna lower them. We're gonna all that stuff. And for those of you that want to say like that's bad for you, you can also just put that projection back on yourself, because I have proof women who get their titties out, they're still as sick as they've ever been, because sure, sometimes the implants can cause some things if they're specific to the kind that causes issues, but most of the time it's what I'm talking about. It's in the energy, it's in the nervous system, it's in the hormones. So whatever. If you get your titties out and you're still sad, stuck, and overweight, and your thyroid's fucked up, come on over. I gotcha. But if I could go back, I would have done the proper therapies, and then I would have done a mommy makeover, gotten the lift, went smaller, probably got ab sketching, because that shit is amazing. I'm pretty sure they could have done it for me. Even though I had abs, like, why not get extra? Have you seen ab sketching, by the way? It's amazing. They take out every bit of fat you can possibly think of out of your midsection and like sculpt a six-pack abs. This is where you see women online where they're soft, but they have a six-pack, and you're like, how? Because hormonally, that's kind of a freak of nature, or it's not possible. I would have totally done that. And I would have told y'all about it, because I mean, I had abs before. It's not like, whatever. I don't give a shit. I ain't doing this for anybody but myself. But that's what I did to get a flat belly after babies. I've always had a flat belly because I've worked my ass off. Hasn't always been that way, but I was intentional. Not that I worked my ass off. I was intentional about, I wanted to snatch waist. So I got my hormones done that support a small waist, which is you need to make sure your cortisol is in that right in the right area. You're not forcing too much. You're not depleting your levels and training on empty. You're not forcing caffeine. You're not pushing yourself. You're really in the feminine. You're a lot in your feminine energy, not in your push force masculine control type thing. Really learning how to be gentle with your body and honor your natural body's intelligence while balancing your hormones and eating enough food. You've got to eat. I mean, 2,500 calories minimal. I mean, I'm 5'5". You need to be eating at least 2,000 calories. Carbs are good for you. Say it with me. Carbs are good for me. Carbs, in fact, all of it's good for you. So lean proteins, all those things. So, and the only reason that that's hard for you is because you've got so much trauma. That's literally it. No gaslighting here. It is what it is. I speak the fucking truth. That's what's going on. If it's been hard for you, it's because it's been hard for you. You have to choose to make a new identity where it's easy for you. And then you got to deal with all the ramifications, because you're going to look around and go, holy shit, my whole life was built around struggle. Yeah. What is it? What's it going to be like when it's easy for you? Ooh, now that's an identity shift. Now you see how deep this shit goes? Yeah. Highly recommend just letting my AI do all the heavy lifting for you. Save the personal growth shit. Just do the AI. You're going to love it. All right. So next question is, how do you fix the 3 p.m. crash and feel like you again without caffeine or Adderall? Whew. Kind of just told you this already from question 1. So do I want to tell you the story about Adderall? No, maybe not. We could talk about that another day. If you really want to know, you can ask me, but I was on both of them before, and not always, but just for a little while. I will say healing my adrenals. Focusing on healing the trauma. I had no idea I had trauma. If you asked me, I was like, I don't feel stressed. What are you talking about? Like, I'm not angry. What are you talking about? Trauma is not what happened to you. Trauma is like what didn't happen to you. Women, if you've got resentment, if you feel like you do everything and you don't have enough help, like that's a type of trauma. It's a type of nervous system dysfunction where you believe you have to overgive, overdo for worth, love. There's no boundaries there. I have a whole entire training around that. And as a woman, it's just who we are. I teach a lot about feminine energy as well. So that's how I did it. I addressed my hormones. I addressed my adrenals, and I had to look at my life. I had to really look and say, here's where I'm overgiving. Here's where I feel obligated to do this. Here's where I feel like I'm having to be on all the time. Here's what doesn't feel good to me. Here's what feels out of alignment. This is why you'll find once you start doing this work, I've got a lot of women, they think it's midlife crisis. I'm like, this is midlife awakening, but they start working with me and they realize I don't like my job. Right. It's because you built that job and forced ego. You were trying to prove something. You were trying to do the things like most of us in our 20s and coming up. And then you hit a point in your life where you're like, fuck this. Who am I doing this for? Your kid's starting to get older and you kind of just look around like, I want to focus on me. And that's when the good stuff starts happening. It's crazy. So that's how I stopped the 3 p.m. crash is I healed my adrenals. Oh, I did the food and gut test. If you haven't done that yet, once again, get started. It comes lifetime access when you work with us. It's get in $22. But I did the food and gut test. That helped a ton and focused on my adrenals, focused on healing my adrenals and my trauma energy, my survival programming. I was programmed for survival, not for thriving. It's just how I grew up. Always in a rush, always be a good girl, be nice, keep the peace, make sure everybody in the room feels comfortable kind of thing. Yeah, that's trauma. Hello. All right. Number 4, and we got one more. If you have any questions, let me know. Number 4 is I feel like I've tried everything, Casey. How is this different from all the other programs? Well, have just talked for a good, how long have I been talking? 15 minutes. Has any of the programs addressed trauma in your nervous system? Have any of them addressed adrenals with the trauma? And then a step further, have they ever looked at your specific nervous system, not just blanket stuff, done the testing, and based on the testing and where your nervous system is at, because we track nervous system as well. We have a way to track your nervous system real time to see if you're in survival mode or not. And from that, created a plan just for you that feels so good. It's not even a plan. It's a plan where you get it and it feels like a sigh. It feels like a relief, a release also. It's not, if you don't want to track, you don't track. If you like, it's not snowflake, but it's honoring your body's intelligence. It's honoring alignment, soul, spirit alignment, your nervous system alignment, because your body's very intelligent. That's why when you give it what it needs, it heals itself. Right? You ever notice when you stop hanging around certain people or you say no to something that's really toxic, your life gets better? Same thing on the opposite, like that. So that's how I would say it's different, is it addresses, everybody says root issue and they talk about fucking gut problems or hormones. We go beneath that. Because if your nervous system is in survival mode, there's not an amount of testosterone pellet or progesterone that's going to work. And those of you that saying that changed your life and great, well, then you probably don't have the same type of goals as the women that I work with. The type of women that I work with, we want it all. Deep, deep, deep presence, peace, power, abundant lifestyle, freedom. We crave more than just a number on the scale. Feel me? So for those of you that want to argue that and say, well, I did hormones and it changed my life, that's fine. I don't know why you're on my page, because you don't have the same goals as my girls. That's it. So last question is, what do I do if I want to change, but I don't feel ready to commit to something big? Totally get it. Your nervous system is tapped out right now. It's very, very few, and I'll be honest, because a lot of you, you probably beat yourself up like, oh, I wish I could be more like Casey's girls and, get the one. Here's the deal. It's rare that I find women that are that tapped into their trust. They've been burned. Most women that come to me for weight loss and doing all this failed so many times, which failing is, saying you're afraid of failure is like saying you're afraid to walk. It's such a mindset thing. But so many women have been burned. They've tried to do things. They've been sold all these things. And really, they're still blaming all of it. They're never really looking at, this is in my energy. At what point in your life are you failing program after program? At what point do you go, maybe there's something in the way my beliefs are that things just have to be hard for me. Maybe there is this thing in me where I'm always comparing myself and I'm deep down kind of jealous and resentful and feel like, well, wouldn't it be nice? Maybe I do think that she can have it, but I can't because of genetics or something. Instead of blaming all these other programs, really, when women come to me, you're about to find out the truth. And that's really at the core root of why women don't say yes, because I've made it really easy for you being $22. I could easily say 10K, but I made it really easy. And so the reason why most don't is because of that, because you're going to get the mirror and it's not going to hurt. It's just going to be like, wow, now you got to sit with some grief because it's been this easy all along. And then you have to grieve the part of you who struggled her ass off. and the part of you who thought that she had to push and she wasn't good enough. So that may happen. And deep down, you're like, yeah, it's going to be a big one. Right. Can I handle that? Can I sit with that? Oh, yeah, because you're holding it all right now. I mean, just look at the weight. I mean, you're holding all of it right now. So I get it. It's not that what's different here. It's, are you willing to shift into an identity who it's not a struggle for anymore? Are you willing to shift into an identity that says it gets to be easy this time, and honor that? Even if somebody on the internet says you should be eating beef liver tablets, are you going to fall for it? Or are you going to trust yourself this time? Because you used to buy every little thing online. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do that. But this guides you back to you. Hotmomz AI guides you back to you. Because my goal is for you to never need another trainer program, health program, because you've got all the right resources here. And it's just a matter of deepening and rising. So if you don't feel ready to commit, that's fine. Do the $22. Start there. And you'll see how you show up. You'll see if it feels right in your body at that point. Sure, you can stick around. It's $99 a month right now. I don't know. Look, this video may be old. When you see it, it may be 300 by then. I don't know. Maybe 1,000. I don't know. But right now, if you want to just stay, it's 99 after that. Cancel anytime. Do you need your hormones done? Do you want to know if you have adrenal fatigue? Do you want to get that fixed? Okay. You want to have just some more resources in your bag of tricks? Do you want to know your food and gut test says, so that you can stop playing fucking guessing games and following these random Google things and fitness influencers that says don't eat this and do apple cider vinegar? What if your body can't have apples? Simple. So take the emotion out and be logical here on that end. On the emotional aspect, yeah, you're about to find out exactly why it's been so hard for you. The second you get started and reset and restore and working with the Hotmomz AI, you're going to go, well, but you're going to feel liberated. You're going to feel validated. You're going to feel seen, really seen. And when you're seen, that's what heals trauma. Trauma is not healing. Trauma and healing survival programming is not crying. Sure, maybe, but it's not like sitting with pain and sadness and all this. It's awareness. It's creating awareness like, holy shit, this is why I've struggled my whole life. That's freedom. That's liberation. Yeah, Alicia says you get to find out who you really are. And she has been following for years and she just signed up. Just like many of you watching. And she said, you get to find out who you really are. And I think that's what scares everybody the most, is because it's like, all right, well, I can actually create whatever I want. What do I do with all that power? What do I do with all this power? And that's where we guide you. Here's my thing. I like to look at it like this. If you will just, when you enroll, don't enroll as I'm broken, I'm fucked up, I need this to desperation, all this shit. Enroll as the woman you deserve to be, the becoming you. Enroll as the future self you. Enroll as the one who already has the body, the money, the confidence. You're enrolling now to just remember how you got there. And you'll slowly start to remember, and you'll kind of get this cadence. And then when something happens, it kind of like the kids get sick or something comes in, because it will, not as a test. It's just because your old identity, your old nervous system is literally trying to do its job. Hey, stay safe. Hey. Remember, you need to fall off. You need to abandon all ships if the kids get sick or whatever. You need to cancel your phone calls. Don't show up. Don't eat what you're supposed to. Nothing. The new identity knows that that's not a time you quit. It's a time you recalibrate. Okay, so the kids got sick and I was supposed to do this. Let me see what my stress levels are today based on Hotmomz AI. Let me see where my nervous system is at. And now that I know where it's at, I know what to give myself. Because the old you was in chaos and you were just circumstantial. Whatever happened outside of you, your mom going to the hospital, was the reason why your whole life went to pieces. That's weak. And you know it and you hate it. So we'll show you a new path where you're like, all right, shit's going to happen, because it is. And that healing trauma is not so that, you're healed. If you come in like that and say that I just need to be fixed, you're gonna, that's that old victim mentality that's like something's wrong with you. No. You're clearing all this to rise, to thrive, because life is going to happen. Now you're going to be more resilient and bounce back. You ever seen women that just bounce back quickly, easily, whatever? It's because of the emotional intelligence. And go look at the post that I made a couple days ago. It's March 30th. I think I definitely made it in March. And it was like, have you ever felt your story was harder? Because it has been. So many of you compare yourself to women like me, and you say, why is it so easy for her? Well, first of all, you don't know the whole story. But second of all, some of you actually have just been, you and still are struggling, striving just to get to the finish line, starting line, sorry, just to get to the starting line. Whereas my starting line was a little bit not easier, but I didn't have to overcome some of the things that maybe you did. It's just like money. Money was my thing. I sat there and I was like, how come I'm not at 10 million already? Like, I don't understand. I'm clearly more, I'm way deeper, and I feel like I'm better than she is, all these things. I'll be straight up. And it's because while they were held, they were brought up with mothers that were nurturing. And I'm sure they've had their moments, but some of these people grew up with either at zero or a little bit of positive, right? Or a lot of us grew up in the negatives. We were just trying to get to the what would you call it? The zeros, if that makes sense. I guess what I'm saying is it's negative emotional equity. Some of you really, it's not that somebody's ahead of you or they're better. It's that you've had some extra struggles that someone maybe like me hasn't. Like, I know a woman right now in the community, they didn't have food. Like, single mom with multiple kids, 5, 6 kids. Like, they didn't have food. It was very hard to eat food. And now is some of my trauma shit that y'all have heard about on my podcast and stuff, like it's been gnarly. But when it came to food, I grew up on a farm. So we had food, we had meat, we had food. So some of the food stuff, that maybe my client had dealt with, and she wondered why she just wouldn't eat. Why I work all day, I don't eat. Right. It's because you're not even tuned into your own body's needs, because they never got met in the first place. That's why if you just sit and you relax a little bit, you're hungry, because you're used to numbing it out and busying and doing all the stuff. So she had some extra things she had to go through before she even got to the starting line. Me, my starting line was way back. But the beauty of this is this. It's not necessarily like, damn, she's ahead. Now I am never going to catch up. No. Because I've done this with money too. Trust me. You want to be around somebody who has the frequency of it being easy. The most powerful coaches I've ever worked with, because mine was, yes, health and stuff, but the main thing for me was like money safety. And the most powerful coaches I've ever worked with were the ones who had the frequency of it. Like, they just grew up around money. They grew up, their mom and dads are millionaires. They have this internal calm and safety around money. And that, to me, I was like, oh, wow. And they say this, if you want to be a millionaire, go hang out with millionaires. If you want to be look really fit, go hang out with a bunch of fit girls. It's true. So you want to hang around people like me, right? If you're trying to get fit and it be easy. So you got to watch out. Some of these girls are following, and guys, oh, Jesus, why are you even following a guy if you don't have a dick? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Come on. But you're following them blindly. You're not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing, what is on me? It's like hair or something. You're not seeing the whole picture. So, oh, it's an ant, a bug or something. Shit. I was outside earlier. Maybe that's what it is. I kept feeling something crawl on me. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, we're closing this up. Yeah, going back, what do I do, Casey, if I really, really want to change? I just don't want to, I don't want to commit. Understand that. That's okay. That's where you're at. You got to honor that, but you've got to get started. And the fear, just let that be part of the work. You can feel that fear and do what's best for you anyway, and then learn why it was so hard. Get your hormones fixed, get your food and gut test, find out how to actually be doing this so you don't think you need to show up being on all the time and forcing and caffeinated and all this. Showing up caffeinated to the gym is actually in smelling salts. Like, that's putting your body into sympathetic stress survival, all that. It's the opposite. You want to build a body out of calm, good, healthy hormones. Now the fat's going to go to the right places and burn from the wrong places. Not that there's a wrong place, but we all know what we want as a woman. Yeah, or whatever we're called these days. So there's that. If you have any questions, I love doing these Q&A style things. I can't see this here. If anybody commented, looking on Facebook. Send them in, Casey. Send them in to support at hotmomzlifestyle.com. Support at Hotmomz Lifestyle. Make sure you put a Z on Hotmomz Lifestyle podcast. I love answering questions. It's just super, super fun. This was a vibe. Look, if you're on Instagram, comment ready or biohack, and I'll send you the link. If you do not get the link for the $22, just DM us, but you should get the link for the 22. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I can't even access this thing. If you don't get the link for 22, then just DM us, because you can start with 22, or we have a year special. If you want to do a year with us, it actually comes with 8 weeks of one-to-one coaching right now. It's not thousands of dollars. It's extremely easy. So those of you watching, it's like, fuck that, I do want to go all in. I got you to just message me all in, and I've got some special bonuses for those of you who do feel like you are ready to go all in. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hold on, YouTube. YouTube. How do we do this?